Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through July 29th are 15% off cheese and crackers, grass-fed, grass-finished tri-tips for $10.99, 820 ground beef trays for $6.99, and brisket flats for $9.99. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursdays at the Mercado East or Fired Up Fridays at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple and Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome to it, Old School. Austin Norman, Derek Pearson with you here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Big thanks to Starter Heyman Jewelers for sponsoring our text line and our stream. You also see us on Allo channel 961. DP, we talked a little bit about player leadership before we got into talking about the Dirty Tar Heels, but that's all right. We can get back on track here at the top of the hour. Sounds like Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman will be along around 5:30. Welcome him into the program around then. But in terms of single-digit numbers, right, that's a big thing for Matt Rule and this coaching staff is those are the players that have demonstrated leadership qualities. And Matt Rule made sure to remind people that this wasn't a coach decision, that him and his coaches stay out of the middle of this process. And we have the clip from Matt Rule here. So big thanks to Huskers.com for providing the audio. Let's hear from Matt Rule on single-digit jerseys. We'll give you our reaction after that.
Well, I don't do it. I mean, they vote on it, right? So it's their decision. You know, we at the end of the day, we want to be a tough, hardworking, competitive program, you know, the things that you can control. And so the guys that they feel like are the best representatives of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, they have to make those decisions, you know. Now, over the years, I've never really loved when my quarterback gets that. You know, it was just, I always like it when it's a physical, competitive, you know, position. You know, unfortunately, our O-lineman obviously can't get it. But, you know, it's just a way to, you know, kind of say, hey, this is, you know, when we think about what we want Husker football to look like, these are great representatives of it. And so, but yeah, I don't get involved. I don't vote. I don't mess with the vote. I don't just steer the vote. I let them pick.
That's different than game captains. Again, we went through that kind of rigmarole the last couple of years, but Matt Rule says, you know, player-led leadership turns into the single-digit numbers. There's been a lot of them on defense recently, DP. A handful of those guys are back, but a couple big ones are gone. Big fellas in the middle, Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, of course, out the door. But in terms of returning single digits, Deshaun Singleton, who we talked to at Big Ten Media Days, returns. Marquise Buford, talked to him at Big Ten Media Days. He returns. Malcolm Hartzog And then Vincent Shavers was wearing number 1 by the end of the year after Jamari Butler wanted to switch back to number 10. When you look at that list of 4 guys right there, Singleton, Buford, Hartzog, and we'll throw Shavers in, that's 3 defensive, backfield players and a linebacker. That's no one up front in the trenches. How many of those guys would you guess get a single-digit jersey coming up this season?
See, I'm always confused by a couple of things. One, in saying it's a player deal. One, linemen can't. And you have the black shirts. That's the sound that that comes into my brain. That the black shirts, like, what's a bigger deal? Single digit or black shirt? If you're a defender. Right? And yeah, you can be a black shirt and have a single digit. But should you? Should you? Shouldn't the black shirt be its own thing? The highest thing you can say about a defensive player wearing Nebraska's. Would that be the thing? Wouldn't that be the thing that unifies me at the highest level? But of course, you can't give linemen single digits. You can give defensive linemen, which is weird, that one side can and one side can't. Defensive backs, those 3, we haven't mentioned Sierra Wright, who I think we're
getting there,
right? Who may be the guy, right? In that, what do you do? Somebody up front has to be in the representation. We would almost lean towards Cam Lenhart just because out of comfort and familiarity.
I was going to say, Cam Lenhart's on the list for me, but we know this coaching staff really likes Elijah Judy. You're right there in the middle.
But
that's my reaction too. I'm saying they like him. It's player led. It's player voted on. Could be neither of those guys.
Again, coaches like him. Do the players like him?
Right.
Which we'll find out. Right. We'll find out those things. If you pay attention to social media and conversation, that Lindenmeyer might be the guy that gets a single digit at the tight end position. You could do that with Harburg, but you're changing something that I'm not sure that you want to change, right? But the honor of it says that his offseason work has been exemplary, and that is what a Husker heart is all about, is Heinrich Harburg. So one of the two, I would imagine, since none of the linemen, then the receivers, and we will have to take expectation from the new talent that is supposed to make this offense different and explosive versus the old established Ja'Cory Barney talent, which we've seen and have some point of reference for in one of the best first-year presentations of a Husker offensive player. That may be it. Maybe it's an Emmett thing. Maybe it's an Emmett thing. But, again, you're changing a thing. At some point, you're breaking the thing to create a new thing, and are you making it a better thing and taking people out of the familiarity? I don't know who the players are. How do you talk your players out of not choosing Dylan Raiola?
If they really view him as a leader, they'll pick him.
Well, but to say, you literally say, I don't like my quarterbacks being single digit, right? I don't like them being exemplary of being the toughest, but it may be the most outstanding thing you could say about Dylan Raiola. You understand the arm talent and the cerebral assassin and the ability to work and film study and all those things. But if you can add to it,
he's not just a pretty boy,
that he's a tough SOB, right? That he is his father's son, then you're saying a different thing. But you just said that you don't like for your quarterback to be that example. I don't know. See, Elijah Judy, you have a defensive lineman wearing 16. So, twist my arm. Not really a thing. Then outside of that, you're looking for maybe another linebacker.
I think Deshaun McCullough is in the conversation as an upperclassman.
McGahee might be in the conversation.
Potentially. I would go Marquise Watson-Trent probably before that. He's going to have to be a communicator, right? That's a guy.
He is in the conversation.
He's in the Billy Kemp, Jamal Banks conversation.
Right, that you can do that. And then I'm just not sure that if you would ask me 6 months ago, I'd have said Bly Hill as an up and comer that would step into that space and make that decision different. Maybe Quentin Ives being the thing that you're going to have to rely on, but then you're going to change Emmett's number if he's the single digit, right? But who's going to be a better example of Nebraska's offensive toughness than Emmett Johnson? This season will tie directly into Nebraska's success. If he's having a great year, Dylan will have a better year. If he's not, if he's struggling, then for whatever reason, you're putting more burden on Raiola and the bigs up front and the new offensive talent on the perimeter, and you're going to need more from the tight ends, whoever they are, whether it's Lindenmeyer, Hartsburg, Bonner, or whatever version of it you decide to put together.
Lindenmeyer being a single digit just doesn't look right aesthetically to me. If he earns it, more power to him. But like, that's a dude, DP, local guy, grinded his way up through the ranks sort of thing. That's not a guy that needs to wear 4. That's a guy that 44, I think, fits perfectly, right? Like, that's a tight end number for a tight end's tight end. Like, come on. We can't make that guy wear a single digit.
Yeah, again, your tradition and the thing that you say you want people to aspire to. So you have goalposts that you put out there. I think it may be a different focus, right? Because it does what it does. It forces talkers like us to have to address the single digit in the room when, quite frankly, I don't care. Like, that's the real truth is what you decide to do with it, what the players choose. Okay, it tells me what's going on in the locker room behind the scenes. Yes, I care about that. The number aspect, just tell me who the leaders are, and I will buy into that. But I get that the single digit numbers.
Well, isn't that the simplest way to do it? Is whoever the players vote as their quote unquote room captain gets a single digit.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
but you can't say that you're going to have 2 corners, maybe a third, a nickel back, a safety, all in your single digits.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, because you can't put offensive linemen in it. You really don't want to put defensive linemen in it. You happen to last year because those were the 2 pieces of talent that were in the room that, quite frankly, 1 changed their body type, 2 changed their work ethic. Okay, well, geez, you said the thing. They're going to be the first 2 off the bus on the road games, right? If we're trying to tell people who we are, we're the Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker spirit. Who are those people? And if you told me Javen Wright, I wouldn't blink.
It's on my list as well.
Right? If you told me Javen, I wouldn't blink. If you told me Emmett was going to wear number 2, I'm okay with that. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. I understand. But the black shirt thing plays out. The line portion of it plays out. And then, quite frankly, in the end, forget the numbers. Tell me who's put in the most work. Who do the players believe have worked the hardest and the most consistently to make this a successful football season? That's what this whole conversation is about.
Let's hear more from Matt Rule here. What are you looking for during this period, right? The first week of fall ball. What is Matt Rule looking for out of his team? Here's the Husker head coach.
Yeah, it's a great question. We told the guys exactly what we want. It's a 6-day ramp-up acclimation period with a 7th day of rest. So, we want to obviously establish our standard of effort. We don't have a lot of time to coach effort. We have a good enough. One of the reasons why you don't have to coach is when you have a lot of depth, a lot of competition. If you don't want to play hard, then so be it. We want to reward the guys who know what they're doing. So assignment knowledge. So a lot of testing in the meetings. A lot of, hey, how much did you work? Over the summer, how well do you know what you're supposed to do? We want to keep them healthy. Most injuries happen. Most soft tissue injuries happen after the first week, beginning of the second week. So we're trying to ramp up and build up where we're not doing too much. And then we want to establish our practice standards, the way that we want to practice, everything from like the gear that we wear to when we get into contact, how to make contact with guys, how to hold the ball security to pre-snap penalties. So all the things that we can control, we're trying to teach this week and do. And then finally, situational football. Dana had them out there. They were doing 2 minutes, today on offense. We know the games are going to come down in the Big Ten to the last minute of the game. And so we're at a point now where we can really focus on the situational FBI. So that's several things, but some are football and some are just related to the standards.
When you walk into fall camp, DP, it's on the doorstep, it's on the horizon. What are the first 2 or 3 orders of business for you as a coach?
Oh, man. Standard. And the simple first thing in the verbiage, because you have to talk to them first. So the language has to be the most important thing because it is the thing. People miss that. The language is the first carrier of the program. the way you communicate, the words you use, the clarity of them, the volume of them, all those things get you out of those chaotic situations, right? Because when chaos happens, you want it to slow down, and then you say the thing that is the most important thing. And it has to be heard, recognized, and then executed amongst 90,000 screaming fans and 21 other players on the field who can and may hear the same thing you heard, but you have to have an understanding of what they heard. Austin has to know what DP heard, what it means, what it tells him to do, so he can execute as well. Then, pace, energy of pace, urgency, probably. So, vocabulary, urgency. Because tied to vocabulary is, what can I say to you quickly, clearly, cleanly, that tells you what you should be doing next now?
Right.
And for you to execute it now, give you an order. I need for you with some pace and urgency to give it priority and be clear in the communication.
And that's probably simpler in terms of energy and motivation on day one, but you're into day 2, day 3 of fall camp. Week 2, week 3, be able to have that same word carry that same meaning.
What's your 10-yard dash? What's your 20-yard dash? That tells me how quickly you can move. That's how quickly we're going to move all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's the standard. Your best is the standard. Whatever that is, right? And I can just say, best, Austin. That tells me move. Move with some urgency, priority. I was clear in what I meant. You understood what I said. And everybody else who heard it. When I'm coaching one, I'm coaching all. So when I say, Austin, best, everybody else understands that, one, I'm either using you or amplifying you. And I'm either saying that you're giving me the best or you're not. Either way, they're on point and on call because, hey, Bach, what did I just say to Austin? Best, coach. Everybody else understands. And they understand. And I can say best in front of 90,000. Michigan will know only one thing. Austin's at tempo. Austin has given urgency. He's been given a message, and everybody else has to move with it.
And it has to hit the same, whether it's Michigan at home, USC at home, or Houston Christian at home.
Best, listen, what is your pace? We get through and you go, okay, your time in the 10-yard dash, because when you break the huddle,
get there.
Right? Get there. We know how quickly you can go. And if you're not moving at best speed, what are you telling me? Something's wrong? You're disconnected? What are you telling me? Right? Because if you're not at your best, I probably need to get somebody in there who can move at their best. And if you're everybody else is moving best and you aren't. Oh. But if you're moving best, you're the standard for all of it. Best, guys. Austin, get up here. Show me best. Okay, you're the first one in the drill. You set the standard. Like in and out the huddle, in the locker room, at practice, in the drill, in the film study. Austin, are you giving me best here? And then I can speak throughout the course of the year. Great best sequence, right? Great team best right there. Everybody move together. It looks the same. It feels the same. It moves the same, right? And I don't want my guard moving at 70% best and my tackle moving at best. It's going to be a problem.
Best has got to be best.
Best has got to be best.
When you think about fall camp DP, and let's say a team isn't meeting the standards, is that because upperclassmen haven't said it or underclassmen haven't reached it?
I haven't said it. I haven't said it. Again, day one. Listen, if my best is a 4.840, that's my best. Okay. Then we sure better do 4.8 together. Like, we better be 4.8 all the time. We can't be 5.2.
No.
We can't be 5.2. Because 4.8 best means we're going to be 4.9 when we're tired. Right? And if their best is 4.4 and their tired is 4.6, I'm at a deficit. So I better figure out how to slow them down. And I better execute perfectly. Give me best technique. Give me best understanding. Give me best preparation. Give me best finish. Best is an important thing because it's relative to the person that's hearing it and the person that is executing. But as the coach, I get to always reset to best. I'm never going to accept less than. Like people get caught up in, well, the player's not giving you best. Well, get the player out of it because there's somebody on the bench that wants to play. There's somebody on the bench that'll give me best. Right? Best is taking care of the ball, getting the most production out of the play, and then getting back to the huddle and getting ready for the next best play. If I haven't set the standard, I'm the director. I'm the paid pro. I'm the one that should set the tempo and the direction. Jay and I bump heads all the time because he says sometimes the player got to play. I get that. I absolutely get that. But if they're not doing that, and think about it, half the teams that will play this year will fail half the time. Well, whose fault is that? It's not always no. The coaches that set standards and are true to the standards, they will not accept the rest. They won't accept anything else other than the best. And I'm just a believer. You've been around me enough to know that in this space, we have standards. And if the simple things aren't met, I lose my mind. Why? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I mean it. Like, look, I coach every day. I just coach on radio. Like you hear it. Austin, why is this? Is that your best? Was that your best? Nope. Okay. Okay.
It's going to be interesting to monitor that in the context of Nebraska football when Matt Rule says own it, right? We spent some time going over that, just how willing and able are these players to own it, right? And that's where I think TP Husker fans need the truth from, people like us sitting here, people writing about it, because if we're being told Nebraska's best is 4-4, to use your example, but Nebraska's best is really 4-5, 4-6, that makes a difference because we're not in those walls every day. We don't have access to the testing numbers, so if we're being told, yeah, I mean, that's the best they can do. This is how high we are, high flyers. We can run this fast. We can make this play X number of times, but it doesn't come true. Either coaches aren't setting the standard, like you said, players aren't playing up to it, or maybe there was false information along the way, which is why I think having a solid baseline of what to expect, we don't know all the time if the coaches are getting the most, getting the least, or getting somewhere in between out of the players. That's why I think, no, recruiting rankings aren't everything. We need to find out, for 12 Saturdays, what is Nebraska's best? It's one thing to read about it. It's one thing to be told about it. But sometimes it's hard to tell, from the outside, well, why is Nebraska only, 7-6 last year? Maybe they squeezed everything they could out of that group.
Well, things that you can't see, right? Again, we talk about it all the time. In the star system, there's no star for heart, intelligence, film study, dietary. Are you taking care of your body? Are you getting enough rest? Is your girlfriend happy with you right now? There's a bunch of stuff that falls into it. And then you have to keep best as the thing all the time. Listen, man, if you bring your girlfriend out of here on the practice field, this is a problem. This is a problem. Hey, man, if you bring academic struggle into the locker room, it's going to affect. We cannot be at our best. That means because your best hasn't shown up. You have to walk in the door at your best. You have to understand that, quite frankly, listen, if we're a 4.7 speed team, but the Big Ten is a 4.4 team, I better kick their tail in bench presses. I better be more sound. I must test out better in film study. I must test out better in being effective, getting my hand placement right, my leverage right. My football IQ has to be higher than the 4.4 guy. If their IQ is higher, their work ethic is higher, they're faster and stronger, it's a problem.
Oh, no.
It's a problem because then I have to figure out how I got to, maybe I got to trick them. Maybe I got to trick them, right? Like maybe I have to be smarter than them. Like I got to fool them, right? The thing that happens, right? You see the coaching play. We're going to run a punt return, reverse punt return because, quite frankly, they're 4.4 at high IQ. Hopefully, we get one of them that's a dumb on the play and doesn't hold balance, and we can get the reverse outside. If it doesn't work, it looks like Nebraska 2021, where bad things happen on special teams all the time, right? Because you're trying to do things that shouldn't ought to do. Onside kick in Ireland. Why?
Yeah.
If you don't trust your own process, your own belief system, then you do that nonsensical, hey, you know what we should do here? No, we should do exactly what we're good at. That's what we should do. And if this ain't the thing we're good at, my goodness, what are we doing?
And we got to get better.
Yeah, in a hurry.
Let's go to break. We'll continue Old School, brought to you by the Mercado right after this on the ticket.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through July 29th are 15% off cheese and crackers, grass-fed, grass-finished tri-tips for $10.99, 820 ground beef trays for $6.99, and brisket flats for $9.99. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursdays at the Mercado East or Fired Up Fridays at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple and Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot and humid with a high around 101. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds with a low around 75. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and another hot day with a high near 96. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Thanks to DP for sitting in while we awaited the Husker Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Let's go to our Allo Fiber VIP line and bring him in right now. Jay, how are you? How you feeling? Did the heat get on you? How's the back? How are the ankles? How's the golf swing feeling? All those good questions. How are you?
Dude, hey, I broke down like an old Chevy Chevette trying to drive across country. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Father Time he takes no prisoners, and
well,
you know, it's all good though. It was for a good cause for Eric Crouch, and you know, a lot going on today. You know, and with the Huskers starting off, and it definitely let me know when football season starts, I no longer can go through a football workout like I used to.
But you did it once before, and we respect you for that. You said it, though, fall camp day one. It's here. It's in the books for the Huskers. We heard from Matt Rule, Luke Lindenmeyer as well today. But, Jay, here we are, fall camp. If football season wasn't real before, well, wake up, people. Football's 31 days away.
Yeah, I mean, it's right here in your face, and you know, all the fun and games is over, and now not the real work begins, but now you're playing for a tangible result. You know, not that you weren't before, but you know, it is now. You're really taking, everything counts, and everything's magnified because they are keeping score, and so it's a different type of mindset or a different type of situation. But really, the work was done, or should have been done, or probably was done, before that. And, there's an old saying by a great philosopher, Thomas Osborne, said that, you win your first third of your games through spring in the off season. And then you win your second third is how you take on fall camp in the first 4 or 5 games. That means you got to continue to work as if, you're just getting into camp. And then you're able to use your bye week and how you're trained and all the stuff that your foundation set forth to, obviously, finish the season strong. And so, there is no tomorrow, there is no turning back, but, it is just day one. There's plenty of days to put, obviously, build it brick by brick or whatever the analogy that they want to use. But, today's a big step, into hopefully the right direction for Nebraska and their football program.
Let's start with Jay. Day one of fall camp, maybe through the end of this week, the first full week of fall camp. What, as a player, are you looking to get accomplished here now that fall ball's officially on you?
Well, you want to make sure that, what you want to do is just verification within yourself. All the hard work and dedication and sacrifice that you put in the off season is just continuation from the spring game and through the summer workouts. And, look, you can work hard and you always just come in and probably think that, you're in good shape and, you've done everything you need to, but then obviously you want to, get some, tangible, verification of it. And then obviously you want to, depending on where you're at as far as your tenure in the program, you want to make sure that you're able to, provide leadership, provide guidance, continue, get better at your game. You're doing probably a lot of things in the off season without pads. So you want to make sure that when you do put the pads on, all the things you've done in the weight room and in the film room, come to fruition. So there's a lot, like I said, you operate individually, but you have to think collectively. Everything that you do individually has to be for the betterment of the team, and the betterment of the team ends up being the better for you. The good thing about starting fall camp, I think, the general across the landscape of college football is that all the, the NIL talk and all that stuff is done. Now this is the guys, when you look in the weight room, or not in the weight room, but in the locker room, who's going to help you win, as many games as possible. You're not going to, get a Peyton Manning in the transfer portal in the middle of camp, unless something crazy happens. So now everybody that's in that locker room has to pull and push in the right direction in order for you to reach the goals that you've set forth all the way back in January or whenever they first started, off-season conditioning.
DP and I were talking a little bit, Jay, about as a coach and his experience, what was most important here in that first week as well. And he said setting the standard, right? Knowing what behaviors are tolerated, which ones are encouraged, and which ones absolutely won't fly. When you were at Nebraska in your locker room, how easy was it for you guys in that locker room to set the standard and make sure that guys that were new to campus, guys that were maybe younger than you, freshmen, sophomores, made sure, beyond any doubt, they knew what the standard was and what it would take to live up to that standard, both on the football field and off it?
Well, I mean, it was easy because the guys that, were way before, and you're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 years, set the path, and, 90, 91, 92, 93, set forth the path when I was a young player. And I saw how the guys that were a little bit older, particularly, Troy Dumas, Clint Brown, Dante Jones, Dwayne Harris, Jared Thomas, all those Christian Peter and all those guys, Phil Ellis and Doug Coleman, Ed Stewart. I saw how those guys worked. So I just essentially, replayed or copycatted them and then put my own spin on it and did everything that they did. And then I just kind of made it my own way of going about my business. And it's a good way to kind of, pay it forward or give back. You got to show guys the way, things should be done, because you don't want the program, or at least, we thought we didn't want the program to slip. And so that's what, was put upon us. And then, we went out there and the standard was the standard. It was national championship or bust. College football was drastically different, as it was. And the circumstances were different, but, we were able to use that as motivation. It wasn't backing down from a challenge. It wasn't, lowering the standard or anything like that. We were just like, you know what, we are going to meet the standard. And, 95 was better than 94. We stubbed our toe in 96, and then we came back with a vengeance in 97. And even in 98, we felt like, we had a chance to do what we needed to do, but we just didn't have that missing ingredient or that, combination of, talent, skill, leadership, and a little bit of it factor. And then they were able to do some better things maybe, I think, in 99. And so, I think right now for this team, it's like, hey, look, you did some good things. You had a really good offseason as far as the transfer portal, so forth and so on. Now let's take it to the next level and try to do bigger and better things in the win and loss column. And that's the only thing that they can do as far as what they're doing right now. And you're not going to be able to do it without, putting forth your best effort day by day. And I know that's a slogan, but it is. Every day, every minute, everything that you think about. And I know that you need your free time, and everybody wants to have the, I guess, work-life balance. But you guys are professionals now. You're getting paid, right? You know, whether it's through social media, NIL, revenue sharing, whatever it is. So right now, you know, your job is to be the best that you can be, because ultimately, while you're cashing those checks, and that's great, and I'm all for it, you know, there does come with it. That does come with circumstances, expectations, and standards that come with that paycheck, and so you got to meet those. And the only way to meet those, is, you know, putting in the good, honest day's work, and then keep doing it day by day. And circumstances can't change how you operate, you know, on a day-to-day basis.
Speaking of that, Jay, a big theme for Matt Rule today was own it. He mentioned that quite a bit at Big Ten Media Days as well, both in the context of the on the field, right? You know, the number one issue he said was we just weren't talented enough. We have to get better. Everyone across the board has to improve. He mentioned it in the context of taking the Nebraska job. No, we're not going to make excuses for it, right? We own the situation that we're in, and then take ownership of what it is we want it to be. But I think the own it mantra can also apply to the work that went in over the offseason and the work here in fall camp. When you hear Matt Rule say own it, and those are the two words that are plastered across Memorial Stadium, the new facility, and all those places that the football players are going to be, existing for the better part of the next month. What do you think that the purpose of the message own it is from Matt Rule to his players?
I like it, that he's putting the onus on them. You know, like, look, own your team, own the results, own your work. Obviously as a coaching staff, they're going to own their job, which is putting in the X's and O's and, you know, keeping you in line. But, you know, own it. You know, don't run from it. I mean, he's just essentially saying the same thing that I said. Own it. You do own it. Own your team, own the results, own the day that you work in, you know, the day-to-day work, own the effort that you put in, and more importantly, the intent that you show up to be the best that you can be. And once you own it, then it becomes like part of your DNA. Then you're more invested. And so, you know, I can't speak for him, but when he says own it, I want you more invested. I want you to invest in this thing that the donors have invested in, that the team, you know, the athletic department is invested in, that the fans have invested in. So you will put in as much as people have been putting out for you to be successful. And then once you own it, then it means more. Then you understand, you know what, you know, really when you start owning stuff, you know, whether it's from a mentality or, you know, from I guess if you buy something, you know, you're gonna take a little bit more care of it. You're gonna, you know, feel more emotionally invested. You're gonna be spiritually invested in it. And then when you step out there on the field, you're gonna do anything and everything underneath, you know, in your power, you know, not to, you know, let it down or let anybody down that's involved with it. And so owning it is a big deal, you know, and sure, you could use a lot of like phrases and all that stuff and, you know, so forth and so on. But really the more important thing is like, you know, doing the right thing, owning, you know, your process, owning how you go out there and approach the game. And then once you do that, man, you know, like, because now it's like, you know, you're letting you know that the talent is there. You know, the excuses are over. Let's go own it and let's go see how, you know, see what the best we can do as far as putting the wins and losses out there on the field.
That's Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman with us on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. We'll go to break. We'll wrap up Old School, another segment with Jay on the start of fall camp for Nebraska football right after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Play ball! Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here during Old School with Foreman and Orman. I am Orman. Joining me on the phone is Foreman. That's Jay Foreman, Husker Hall of Famer and host of Old School. Jay's on the road. I'll be back for tomorrow's shows and day 2 of fall camp. Jay, any other takeaways from fall camp? I know you were out on the golf course, but I know you're with football heads. Anything else people need to know about either this Husker camp or kind of fall camp in general here on day 1 and week 1?
I mean, it's a big time, and it's a big year, and I think you just got to take it day by day and just kind of deal with it the way as it goes. And I think honestly, it's a program changing year potentially, and so from there, you just got to make sure everything is everything, and the main thing is the main thing. The most important game is obviously Cincinnati. Right, you can't worry about Michigan or anything like that, even though people will start talking about it. And the most important day is tomorrow. I'm sure they're watching tape, and then you want to make adjustments, and you want to see what you did well, and then what you can get better at, and then you want to continue to magnify and build on what you do well, and then you want to continue to minimize what your weaknesses are, and obviously accentuate your strengths, and then you want to make sure that that bond is there, within the the teams, and that's offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, because ultimately, if you want to get to the goals that that they've said, or be a better team than last year, is that you got to get better at everything. There's nobody on the team that's a finished product. There's nobody on the team that feels like you should feel like they're a finished product. And that's the great thing about it is you got a lot of answers or a lot of options. Now you got guys that potentially can be answers. And then also the biggest thing is that everybody's got to go through it together. There's not one player on the team that I can think of just off the top of my head that's shown up to camp and is like, okay, I'm just kind of going through the motions and I'm a All-American and all that. And now granted, you'd like to have 5 or 6 All-Americans, but more importantly, you want to have guys that are, in it to win it. And everybody has, goals and aspirations individually, but collectively, everybody has things that they drastically can get better at. And when everybody has that mindset, doing it for the right purposes, then the days, tend to go by faster. And the reason why they go by faster is because you're so intent and you're so focused on the bigger picture, which is getting better individually and collectively, that you're not worried about how much time it is. And then you could go overtime. You could, essentially, I don't know what time meetings will get over. You could be up there, having pizza or whatever and talking about things outside of football. And next thing you know, it's 10:30. And even though if you have to get up at 7:30, the joy of going there and working hard is part of the process. And so once it becomes, getting better at practice and versus getting through, then, practice doesn't become a nuisance. It becomes, more of a purpose and obviously a privilege.
We're talking with Jay Foreman, Husker Hall of Famer, with us here on the line. You brought up an interesting thing there, Jay, about, always getting better at something. How much of fall camp is getting better, at who you want to be versus being better at who you are and in the role the team is asking you to play? Obviously, it's a constant process of growth and of learning. But I know we talk about this in basketball all the time, right? Where summer is where you add those new skills. You see if you can expand your game. Whereas fall, winter, maybe even spring in that season, that's where you really, double down on the role that you're going to be asked to play. What's that balance like here as Nebraska's starting fall camp?
Well, it is. I mean, it's a hard thing because you got a lot of, spots that are, I don't know if they're solidified or not, but you got guys that are, whether you're in competition for a starting spot or like a backup, but a rotational role. Like every spot's open. Now, sure, you got some starters. Obviously, Dillon's the starter, Emmett's the starter, Dane Key, Hunter, and all those are guys that are solidified. But you got to think, those spots behind them, or like maybe even with them, or potentially could eat up some playing time, is there about you defensive line and linebacker and all that. Your role definition, is such a huge part of fall and summer camp that it's a tricky part to. I don't wish, be a Matt Rule, at all, because you got to set forth the practice plan and the atmosphere that, you're competing, but then also there's a time that where you have to cut off and then start to get that continuity, all while continue to develop and then push the guys that maybe are starters and guys that are potentially trying to be co-starters or rotational players at the same time with the NCAA rules and with the emotions of players and dealing with all that stuff. And then that's where the main thing has to be the main thing, right? And that's where you got to understand, you can go from a guy that is a co-starter and playing 50% of the time to, 1 or 2 plays, you're making the right way. Then you're playing 60, 70% of the time. Now your whole mindset changes. Now you are a guy that they're preparing for versus a guy that they know that plays. And that is a huge thing. And then obviously you want to create an atmosphere. Lastly, is that you want to see, I would want to see the guys that I know that can answer the bell, right? Everybody's motivated when you're, essentially playing like a Texas Christian, you're beating the brakes off them, right? And it's easy. I want to know the guys that can dig in, right? And the guys that are going to go and still compete. I always think about the game that, like at the interception against Colorado, we're down like 7-10, 7-0 or 10-0. We couldn't get a first down. Defensively, we were trying to gel. You make one play, next thing you know, the floodgates open. You got to constantly try to find and push guys, not only to the breaking point, but where they can actually go break through their breaking point. Every man has a breaking point, and how big that breaking point is just how you harden them in camp. And that's the tricky part of trying to, run an organization, a program to get to the national level, and then obviously get back to prominence like everybody wants it to be.
Last thing then for you, Jay, when you think about that room that might have some guys ready to expand their skills, but also maybe we need to focus in on a role. For me, I go to the tight end position, right? Luke Lindenmeyer, a guy that a lot of people have expectations for. Is he more than just a traditional tight end, just an inline blocker? Think about Carter Nelson. Is he How much is he adding to his blocking repertoire as opposed to just the mismatch nightmare, right? Heinrich Harburg has a lot to prove, I think, as a tight end. That room's going to be really fascinating to watch to see if that's a room of guys that get pigeonholed into these are your skills, this is what you're best at, this is how we're going to use you, or how many of those guys can develop into, those kind of Swiss Army knives so Nebraska's maybe less predictable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that's one of the biggest group, or like one of the groups that are going to have the spotlight. Is role definition. It's how much better you got in the offseason. Who's going to rise above, everybody else? The cream rises to the top. Is it Lindenmeyer? Is he not just going to be a move tight end inline blocker because he's sneaky athletic and can make plays, got good leadership skills? And then where do the jokers go? Like I always think, like we were just in Vegas. Where are the guys that have the ace in the hole, right? What is Heinrich Harburg? What has he done to become actually a functional tight end? Carter Nelson, are you healthy and be, more of an inline blocker? Bonner, Ingridson, who essentially just came out of the womb as a blocking tight end, but is sneaky athletic. Can he use his body? Marcus Satterfield's room is so interesting because you got to have a guy that's got to step up and be Dylan's safety net. You got to have guys step up and be threats, but then also they got to come together as a group because they have different body types and different, options offensively. Both offensively is like in the pass game and the run game, but more importantly, they can provide, a spark on the special teams as well. Blocking, being able to run down and cover kickoffs, and then obviously being on the travel roster. That room is so interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it works itself out.
That's Jay Foreman, Husker Hall of Famer, with us on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. Jay, thanks for calling in. Drive safe. We'll get back home, and we'll see you for a couple hours for On the Block tomorrow.
No doubt, man. I'll see you.
That's Jay Foreman, again, Husker Hall of Famer, with us there on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. That'll do it for Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop with 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. We will turn your attention on the radio dial to the Kansas City Royals. We will turn your attention on stream to the Kansas City Royals. On air, you'll have the game. On stream, you'll have me on the baseball corner talking about the Royals' decision to extend Seth Lugo, one of the most coveted trade chips out there on the market. Royals were maybe a little more hesitant than others to make that move. They said, we're going to extend Seth Lugo instead. We'll talk about that. Emmanuel Clase busted for gambling, baseball's Hall of Fame class of 2025, and Nick Kurtz on an all-time heater for anyone, not just a rookie. All that ahead on the baseball corner on stream. Royals on the air after this.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through July 29th are 15% off cheese and crackers, grass-fed, grass-finished tri-tips for $10.99, $8.20 ground beef trays for $6.99, and brisket flats for $9.99. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursdays at the Mercado East or Fired Up Fridays at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to